Hi, I'm Kiona St. Louis.
And I'm Ellen Wright.
And we're here from the Charles Hayes Secondary School Leadership Club, and we're here to talk to you about Women's History Month. Every year, March is designated as Women's History Month. This is a time for us to celebrate and honor all of the contributions women have made to our society throughout history. It is a month for us to recognize and acknowledge the accomplishments that have impacted our culture and society in great ways.
It's important to celebrate all the efforts women have made to produce a lasting impact on our society and create an equal and fair environment for everyone. We celebrate also to commemorate those who fought for the betterment of our country and those surrounding it. Taking time to reflect on these actions will also aid in the reconciliation of women's gender-based discrimination and the lack of women's rights and freedoms.
This month actually started out as Women's History Week, which originated in Santa Rosa, California. This celebration began on the week of March 8th in 1978 and soon spread all across America in the following years. In 1980, a group of women led by the National Women's History Project successfully called for national recognition of this week.
In the past, there have been many significant dates that mark the progress towards equal rights and liberties for women in Canada, including the following. In 1916, thanks to the efforts of Nellie McClung and the Political Equality League, Manitoba became the first province to allow women to vote on the provincial level. In 1960, the Canada Elections Act granted all women the right to vote, which included all Indigenous people who had previously been denied suffrage. In 1977, the Canadian Human Rights Act was passed, which prohibited discrimination based on gender, race, age, or sexual orientation when employed by the federal government or private companies regulated by the federal government, which mandated equal pay for women. In 1982, women's equal rights were enshrined in Section 28 of the Charter of Rights and Freedoms, ensuring that the benefits and liberties of the Charter apply to both men and women. In 2004, during the 38th Parliament, the Standing Committee on the Status of Women was established, dedicated to pursuing action to further women's equality in Parliament.
Throughout Canadian history, Indigenous women have faced a variety of issues. Women of Indigenous descent have been legally discriminated against for over a century due to the passing of Bill C-31. From 1876 to 1985, Indigenous women were deprived of their status if they were to marry a non-Indigenous man, whereas men were able to pass on Indigenous status to their non-Indigenous wives. This fueled the idea that women were only a possession and relied on men. Since then, these women have still faced many issues as a result of being Indigenous. One issue Indigenous women deal with is the crisis of murdered and missing Indigenous women. Within the past few years, many Indigenous women are speaking up about the problems they face. One woman in particular spoke up about the issue of police brutality towards Indigenous women. Amber Prince from Vancouver won a human rights case for Deborah Campbell, who was dragged 20 feet by a police officer while trying to peacefully witness her son being arrested. Women's E-News created a podcast specifically intended for Indigenous women activists to speak up, called Indigenous Women Speak Out.
Even though progress towards equality for women has improved drastically in the past 100 years, there is still work to be done to achieve equal and fair treatment. Gender-based violence is something that affects women at an extremely disproportionate rate, especially involving transgender women, women of color, and women with disabilities. Moreover, according to the Canadian Women's Foundation, 30% of women over the age of 15 experience sexual assault at least once in their life. To combat the epidemic of gender-based crime and to remove the stigma that comes with reporting sexual assault, we need to keep the discussion open on women's issues and continue to bring awareness to the difficulties that they face.
To personally support Women's History Month, there are many things you can do, including support local female entrepreneurs and women-owned businesses, such as Art from Ashes, Val's Nail Shades, Nails by Tamara, and Cookie Creations, and many more. Support a local women's nonprofit organization such as the Transition Society. Donate to provincial organizations like the Aboriginal Mothers Centre and Transcare BC. Share social media posts to spread awareness. Support women artists and authors. Learn more and educate others by reading news articles and listening to TED Talks and podcasts on women's rights. Thanks for watching!